new taxpayer Blomipla. So when you're asking questions after this, please structure your questions around the registration process. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Helen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, MC. Okay, just a brief introduction. My name is Helena Solian, and I'm in charge of teen registration, and I look after the service center down at our IRC head office. So if you have any teen queries, we are around. We'll be at the booth after my presentation. We can take some questions off here. Okay, I'll just quickly go into the presentation. Okay, how to apply for a teen. I know every one of us, some of you here have already had a look at the teen forms, the different teen 1, teen 2, and teen 4I. But for those of you who haven't seen the teen form or have seen it, but you're yet to get a feel of completing it, this is the session this afternoon. So how to apply for a teen. Applications are lodged using the appropriate and approved teen forms. So we have teen 1 for non-individuals and teen 2 for individuals. And we also have teen 4I for small business tax or small business taxpayers. So teen 1 for non-individuals, that applies for associations, business group, companies, cooperative societies, incorporated land groups, partnerships. So those are all classified as non-individual taxpayers. Teen 2 for individual or sole traders who have registered at IPA under a business name. So the teen 2 is applicable for individuals. So if you have registered a business name with IPA, like our IPA presenter presented this morning. As a new and non-individual, what application form will I complete? I've already mentioned. It's as a company or association or business group, partnership, cooperative society, you will be required to complete teen 1 form. Okay, the requirements also, after completing your teen 1 form, you have to attach your IPA certificate that are relevant to your company or the association or the business group. So that's the incorporated certificate and your extract. So I'm sure every one of you who have ventured into business, whether it's a company or business name or association, you've gone to IPA and you know what I'm referring to. So like I mentioned, attach your IPA extracts that are relevant to your company or association. Okay, if you have a land group that you've registered, again you attach the IPA certificate, attach certificate of ILG, that's from the Department of Lands. Cooperative society, you attach the Department of Commerce and Industry, the certificate, the incorporated certificate, and a letter of confirmation from them. Like that was mentioned by the presenter this morning. They also give that confirmation letter together with your the cooperatives incorporated certificate from the Cooperative Society Department of DCI. Partnerships. Partnerships, you attach your IPA certificate, extract, and a partnership agreement if in a partnership, okay? And you're also required to attach your authorized personal, so your proof of ID. Okay, with the IRC we have the mandatory requirements we would like to encourage taxpayers to attach to the relevant forms would be the NID, the passport, copies, not the originals, copies, the NID, passport, and a driver's license. Okay, we have all the other proof of IDs also listed with, it's on our teen guide. So if you have read through our teen guide, we have all the requirements of proof of IDs. So example, if you're a small business and you don't have any proof of ID, okay, you can lodge your application, complete the application, and then you lodge a passport size photo. That's if you don't have any proof of ID at all. Like for the very rural ones who are, back in the villages, they don't have NID. Maybe they've lodged NID, but they're still waiting for NID. Not every citizen of Papua New Guinea, we have a passport. Or not every one of us have a driver's license. So IRC is also considering those factors. We're coming up, or we have decided that we're looking into issuing a IRC teen ID. But that's in the pipeline, and we're still working to it. For now, if you don't have any form of ID, all you need to do is attach your passport size photo. But what will you have to do with that passport size photo? You make sure you get a commissioner of vote to certify it at the back of the photo, stamp it, and then also do a stat deck to accompany that passport size photo, telling the IRC that you don't have any form of ID, and that's your only form of ID where we can be able to use. And going forward, like I said, if the IRC goes issuing teen IDs, then you would be the very ones that we will have to look at first and issue those teen ID cards. So if you don't have an ID, it doesn't mean you don't get a teen, but those are some of the things that we've tried to make it easy for you taxpayers. Okay, how to complete the Teen 1 form application. We have the Teen Registration Guide, which I've also mentioned a couple of times so in my during my speech now, my presentation, that we have different guides, the guides that can assist you to completing the relevant forms. So we have 3 guides. We have the Teen 1 guide, the Teen 2 guide, and the SBT guide. So we have those different guides that you can refer to. They're simple. We try to make it simple for everybody to understand, taxpayers to understand, and complete the application forms. But even still, we're still here at the IRC. We have our provincial offices. You can go there, ask for assistance, and we will help you. Okay, it's not that we close our doors on you people, no. We're always available 5 days a week, from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So this is a sample of a Teen 1 form. I know many of you have seen it. So I'll just go through the form quickly, but we'll have a practical session after my session, after my presentation. So basically, the first part of the form is the reason for completing this form. Okay, so where I've put the arrow, the reasons for completing this form, we have 4 reasons there. You register an enterprise as a taxpayer, you change contact or your registration details, updating, choose an enterprise. That applies to when you want to cancel your teen on the reasons. So that's the option that you can select on that form, and request a reprint of your teen certificate. So there you indicate your reasons in why you want a teen and the other reasons as stated. Just a heads up, we've been updating our forms, so maybe in the next presentations, we might show you our new forms, how they look like once they are vetted. Then when we can also put them on the website so you can have access to them. Okay, the second part is the main contact. So main contact is the person's main contact, your contact. If you're the contact person, say if you're the accountant or if you're the manager, that block is for you. You complete it. You give us all your information. So the main contact, email address, phone number, fax numbers, all that information you need to supply to us. And sorry, I forgot to mention, you might be wondering why you have the forms shaded, some parts shaded in yellow. Huh? Those shaded parts are the mandatory parts, which means you have to give us all that information. Because if you don't give us that information, your registration will not be completed and you won't be issued a TIN. So whether parts says that are shaded in yellow, they're mandatory, and we expect you as the applicant to give us all that information, including the rest of the form. Because remember, registration is the first pillar. That's the first point of entry into IRC. Once you get registered, then it opens the door for you to file, lodge, and pay your tax. So without registration, you won't be able to do the other obligations. So that's why we require all the information on the form to be completed correctly and accurately. Okay, the next part of the form is the enterprise identification details, which I also touch. So that's where you will show your IPA information or your DCI information, the other stakeholders, the registrations that you went and you applied for, you got. So this is where you give us that information. Then you have the head office details. The head office details is where your business is located or your business information. So that's the section, lot, and the street or suburb, the postal address, and your head office contact name, and again, the email address. Okay, I'd like to stress to you that IRC has now, we've come up with our validation rules or conditions. So previously you will notice that when you came to lodge your application, we would register it quickly and you would get it within 5 or within a working day. As long as the information that is required by IRC is attached. Of course, if the information is incomplete or we still want more information, we will still contact you, and that's where the delay is. So we're taking a step ahead. So what we're doing now, we're validating all applications that are received via online or via the counter. So we are expecting everyone to have a valid and current email address. So that's going to be a mandatory, or that's a requirement now that we are kind of like performing. So we expect every one of you to have a valid email address, because we want to go, we want to communicate with you guys via email. And modern technology, we need to keep up to date with modern technology. So email address is very important. If you don't have an email address, then your application will be rejected at the counter, and you'll be advised to create an email address, either a Gmail address or a Yahoo, or, I mean, you're all, you know what I'm referring to, but that's a point I want to stress to you guys. So if going forward, if there's no email addresses, then we will reject your application and would encourage you to create an email address and come back to us. We're also validating the mobile phone numbers that you state on the application forms. Okay, there's a lot of experiences we had where taxpayers give us their mobile phone numbers or their landlines, but when we call them, they don't answer, unsuccessful. So we're making it at registration at the first point of entry that all these validations need to take place. If we call you and you don't answer your phone, that's it, you miss out. But I'm sure we'll call you again, and please, when we call you, answer your phone. We just want to confirm with you if that's a valid and working mobile. Because in the future, like I said, getting a TIN is not just getting a TIN and there you go, that's the end of it. When you get a TIN, you're opening your door to the IRC, and there's obligations after getting a TIN. So that's why we encourage our taxpayers to have valid addresses, that is the email address, and contact, the phone numbers, the mobile numbers. So going forward, we will have to communicate with you in terms of, calling you to pick up your assessments or for us to post it. And if your assessment comes back, the mail comes back to return to sender, then the next way of communication is phone or email. But otherwise, the IRC, we're encouraging communication with taxpayers via technology. Okay, so the next part is where your bank account details need to be given or stated. If you have a business bank account, that's where we require you to put your bank account details. Okay, if you don't have a bank account, don't worry. You can give us your bank account details as soon as you open your business account. The next block is to do with the directors or the shareholders. So if you are a director or shareholder of that of your business, you are required to give us this information here. Some of you might be saying, but it's already on the extract. Yes, it's on the extract, but we'd require you to complete it there. Because this application is the source document. Like I said, that's the very first document that we will be using or we will put in your record, in your file. So we need that information. The last block, like there, it shows there, it's the details of the directors. So again, it's the directors, that block applies to the directors. The last part of it is the authorized person identification. It's the person who is, in most cases, the owner or can be the accountant, the authorized person who is completing that form, who has an interest on that business. So in most cases, it would be the business owner or the director or the accountant completing this form and lodging it. So we expect that information to be stated in that field. So that's the TIN 1, basically the TIN 1 application I've gone through. Okay, for an individual or as a new individual or sole trader, what application form will I complete? So as a business name or sole trader, you are required to complete TIN 2. That's for individual individuals, sole traders. Again, you are required to complete all that form and attach your IPA certificate, which is the business certificate, and the extract. So that's the TIN 2 form. So that's a TIN 2 form. Again, we have the 4 options there. And then the next block is requesting for full name and address of the applicant. So the individual person, you will be completing this form. So you're again required to complete this form. Make sure you give us all the mandatory information that is required by you. The form continues, your nationality, occupation, marital status, comes all the way. Email address is again important because we're making email address now mandatory. That means it's mandatory in the system. So if a registration officer, everything is good to go, but if you don't have an email address, that application will be rejected. So make sure you have your email address. If you don't have one, please create one. It's something similar to IPA, yeah. IPA, when they have the registration online, once you use that email address, you are not allowed to change your email address. So IRC2, we are pointing that way as soon as we go online. Well, currently we have our My IRC portal, so some of those requirements are now embedded into that into that portal. So currently, just a heads up, it's where the portal is used by our current taxpayers who have a current TIN. So they're able to go register on the portal and then access all the other like queries and statement of accounts, whatever you want, you can get it off there. Not when you are not registered yet for a TIN. Okay, we continue on to the form. The next part is the identification, which I've emphasized. There you give us one of your valid IDs, and that field is also mandatory in the system. So if you don't provide us or you give us a proof of ID that's expired, we'll reject your application. You have to give us a current valid POI. And like I said, if you don't have any ID at all, the only POI now is the passport size photo. Make sure you get it certified by a commissioner of vote, stamped and signed, and then accompanied with a stat deck. Okay, the next block is your address, and the other field is the residency question, so that you can also refer to the taxpayer guide. We have notes also on the forms that can also assist you, but if you go to our guide is we have written it out in a way where you can correspond to which section of the form. So you are also required to give us your address, that's your home address, and your mailing address. That includes the section, lot, street or suburb, and the country, and then your postal address. On the postal address note, we would also like to discourage taxpayers or using other postal addresses. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are going to use somebody else's address, how will you be able to communicate with the IRC? Or you using somebody else's address, will that person be honest enough to bring whatever notices that the IRC sends to you? So we're also encouraging taxpayers, please open your own postal address, your post office box. So that's another way of communication. So you can, when we send your notice of assessments or your letters or whatnot from the IRC, it comes to you firsthand. When you go and check your postal address, there you go, your mail is there, you get it, you read it, and then you respond back to the IRC, or you come to our IRC, any of the offices. We have our provincial offices also, so you can go there if you are in the other provinces. We have our regional centers also in the 4 main regions. So that's why we encourage, as much as possible, have your own postal address, your own post office. No can use him post office box Blonarapla. Because if in the event also, if your friend or your one talk doesn't renew the post office box, so what happens to all your notices from IRC? So please, I'll encourage you. And also, making business, that's that's important. You need to have a postal address, or you need to have a post office box for the purpose of carrying out a business. The next block is again talking about your bank information. Like I mentioned, that block is for the business bank account information. If you don't have one, I know most of you will say, no, I need a TIN before I go and open my bank account. That's fine. We will give you a TIN, but when you get your bank account information or you open a bank account, please come back to IRC and give us that information. We need that information. Okay, don't just get your bank account and bye-bye IRC, please. I'm encouraging you because we have laws or we have penalties that can, within 28 days of you changing your address or anything, you need to get back to us and give us that updated information. Otherwise, you will be penalized. Okay, the next part of this form is talking about a tax agent. If you have a tax agent or if you've engaged a tax agent to do your paperwork, your lodgements, your registration, whatnot, this is where you indicate on the form, similar to TIN 1. Then you have the business activity information, your individual situation. So this is where we also compare, or we get the information from IPA, your IPA registration, and we compare it with what you have given us, and we capture that information in our database. So the individual situation is, they're there, investment income earner, salary wages, sole trader, and partner in a partnership or a director. Sorry, we had the other options, but we didn't include them in here, but we've already updated the form. So maybe in the next presentations or sessions, we'll show you the form. Okay, there's also questions there, 1 or 2 questions for you to answer. It's asking if you have any employees. If you have any employees, check yes and give us the number of employees. What's your projected turnover? More than 250 or less than 250? And your business name. So these questions, 1 or 2 main questions asked here, will also determine us to open your respective tax account. Okay? We open your GST, your salary wage, and your corporate income tax and your personal income tax. And then the end of it, it's your, the shaded part of it is the start date of your business. So make sure that start date is given to us. If you're an exporter or an importer, check those, either of the check boxes. And then the end of the application is the signature. We'd encourage you to sign your forms so that we know that you have declared correct information. Okay, my next slide is about updating of information, which I basically touched. So we have the same form. You can use that same form to tell the IRC that you've updated your information. Anything, your postal address, your email address, section, lot, business details, this is the same form you use. But you must complete the form correctly and tick the correct checkbox where it says change contact or other registration details. So that's basically which form you can fill, and that's the form. We also have new forms designed. Like I said, we updated TIN 1, TIN 2. We're simply trying to simplify the form. Previously, you have maybe seen that the form was quite lengthy. Now we've amended or updated rausim sampler information were irrelevant. So that's why now the form is quite short, but we're still updating, which we have updated and we've submitted to the Commission for vetting. So that's why I keep mentioning that once the forms are approved, then the new forms will be uploaded. For now, we're still using the old version of the form, but the updated version. So that's TIN 1 I showed, and this is TIN 2, the same thing. So you continue to complete the respective form by indicating your updates indicated, like I've mentioned. So I have an example there. It says if all your information is the same and only your personal address has changed, then complete the whole form with the same information, but give us your correct postal address. So previously you can say, oh, I've been sending a letter. We accept letter. But sometimes that other information is not given. So that is why we are saying complete the relevant form so you can give us your information. Again, this form is updated. We have an update form, and going forward, once the forms are approved, you will realize, so when you go into the website, you will find out, or you will see that TIN 1 will be for the purpose of registration only. All these other options will be removed. Okay, that's so that's for that reason we have now created new forms also for the update of your information, and if you would like to request a reprint of your TIN certificate. So those forms, like I said, they're still in vetting process. I wish that they were vetted so we could show them here. Unfortunately, they are still in the process, so I'm not able to show you here. But when you, in the next probably few months down the line, when you go into our website, you may then see the updated forms, the versions that I'm referring to. So that's basically the TIN certificate reprint request. Again, you use that same form. If you're an individual, use TIN 2, and for non-individuals, you use TIN 1. But again, make sure you check the correct checkbox. And also, please give us your reason why you want a reprint of your TIN certificate. Okay? We want to know your reason before we actually reprint the TIN certificate, and we need to capture that information also on the system. Once we capture that information and we save, we're able to revoke your certificate. And then when we issue you the new certificate, you will see that there'll be a new number on your certificate. So that's why we ask for the reason for your request. So that's the same I've just mentioned. Yeah, so those bullet points are the same, just the emphasis that I've already mentioned. Okay, that's brought me to the end of my presentation. I'll do a live demo just to show you how to complete the form. I know every one of you's, you know, you're smart, you're intelligent, but we would like to share these for the benefit of others. Okay, we'll complete a TIN 2, which is the individual application. So if those of you who, you're an individual who's registered a business name at IPA, this is the form that you will complete. Okay, we're just going to do a demo, so please don't mind about the information we are putting there, but in your case, you need to put your information onto that application form. Okay, so the first reason for completing this form, for everyone here in this room and for the reason of getting a registration or a TIN, is the option 1 checkbox. So you register an individual as a taxpayer. Okay, you come down to the next block, which requires your full name and address. So there you type in Gills is the last name or the surname. This is, sorry, for the purpose of demo only, but like I said, you put your own name there. Okay, the first name is Betty. Okay, put the first name as Betty. Then you have your title, which is Mr., Mrs. or Miss. So you can either write it in where it says specify, or you can just circle or tick, either option. Then you have your middle name. If you have a middle name, you are required to put your middle name there. So we'd also encourage you, when you are doing your registrations at IPA, make sure you use your full name, like your names. If you have middle names, include them in your IPA registration, or when you are going to get your NID, because we also make sure that your names correspond to your ID. Okay, there's a lot of people, fraud and all that happening, so we try to, make sure that you are that same person. You are that Gills Betty, and there's no Gills Betty someone. If we see that maybe most of you have encountered, if you've already registered for teen and you came to the counter and your application was given back and you were advised to go and update, then we have to do that. If you only put your surname and your first name on the form, but your IPA you registered as your surname, your first name, and you have a middle name, then we can ask you for another form of ID that has, it collates or corresponds to your name. So that's why I'm saying, for now, like now we have all these link with IPA, banks, IRC. We'd request for taxpayers to give us all the correct information. So that saves you from going to and forth to do any updates. So if you don't have any middle name, no need. Date of birth is also mandatory, so you need to give us, and your gender, male, female. Example 25th September 1972, Gills Betty, that's her date of birth. Nationality, of course, nationality, we are all Papua New Guineans. So Papua New Guinea, PNG, PNGN. Okay, place of birth. Oh, sorry. In case if you're not really sure with your date of birth, where it says date of birth approximately, you can check one of those, yes or no, and then put your, if you can't remember, then just put no, and then put that your date of birth. But we'd require you to put your date of birth, and I'm sure everyone would know the date of birth. The next block, come down to place of birth. It's the place of birth. Where were you born? So you can put the place of birth there. Kimbe. Okay, Betty was born in Kimbe. And the province or state of birth, you would say West New Britain, huh? That's the province. Okay. Occupation. For this case, Betty is the business owner. Okay, the marital status you also required. De facto, divorced, married, separated, single, or widow. Okay, single. Then your maiden name. So maiden name there would be Betty's maiden name, Gills. Okay, mother's last name, Tau. Father's first name here would be Joe, and father's last name is Gills. Okay, don't worry about that deceased. That only applies if the applicant is dead. Okay, you put your phone number there. If you only have one, you can just give us one. If you have 2, 3, give them to us. Okay, fax. If you have a work phone, most of us are employed, but we do the 8 to 5 business outside. So if you have a work landline there, you can give the work phone number there. Then your email address. For now, that space is not mandatory, but in our updated form, that's mandatory. Okay, the next block. Now we've completed the first block of the form. We'll move down to the second block, which is the identification. And in this case, Betty's given us her ID, which is the NID. So that's where we are capturing the NID information. So if it's a passport, you capture that info, or you state the information where it says passport, the field. If it's NID, NID. Driver's license is the next. NID, issuance date. Issuance date is 8th of August, 2022 or 2021, sorry. 2021? 2021, not 2016. Okay, the expiration date. Okay, place of issuance would be the issuing authority. So in this case, NID is issued by Department of or Community Development. So we'd put Community Development there, the department that issues that NID. Okay, let's move on to the bottom where I was referring to the other ID. That's where you can also, if you don't have any of those IDs that we've mentioned, or any of the IDs that's in our guide, then you can complete that form by issuing or giving us the passport size, certified and stamped by the Commissioner of Vote. So that's where we can put it down there. Okay, let's move on to the next block. Okay, you can also complete where it says residency. Are you a resident of Papua New Guinea? In most cases, it would be yes, because we are residents of Papua New Guinea. Unless you're a foreigner, then you can say no, depending on the period, how long have you been in the country. Okay, the address, next block is the address. This is where you capture your home address. So section 420, lot 63. You can put the street name there, and the district is Hoskins. Okay, country is PNG or Papua New Guinea. Province is West New Britain. You can have it in full or just have it in abbreviation. City is Kimbe. Okay, now onto your mailing address. So the mailing address, PO Box, is 263. Again, country is PNG. Province is West New Britain. And it's Kimbe as the city or post office. Okay, if you see there, we have that care of, but like I mentioned, we're discouraging care of using other one-talk or brother-sister postal address. We're discouraging that. We want you to have your own postal addresses so we can communicate, send you your respective notices. So we're in our update, we've also we've removed the care of. So in the new form, you will realize that we don't have any care of, because we're discouraging the care of you using somebody else's postal address. Okay, so the next block is asking the foreign address. This is applicable to foreigners. The next block is the bank information. So if you have your business bank information, you state it, or state it on that field or in that block, so we can also capture this information in our system. And the bank information is supposed to be your business account and not your personal account. Because in the event you give us your personal account, and if it's garnished, what's going to happen? You won't access any of your funds. So that's why we are encouraging, if you have a business, open a business account. So your business transactions are made to your business account and not your personal account. Okay, the next block is the representative information. So if you have a representative, that's where you complete it. Okay? If it's yourself, you can either put it there, but we will still know that if you don't put anything there, we know that it's the person. It could be the business owner themselves. But otherwise, if you have a business representative, in case of a tax agent or an accountant, give it to us. Okay, the next block is the business activity. So the business activity is basically your individual situation. So in this case, Gilles Betty is a sole trader, so we check the sole trader checkbox. Okay, if you're a sole trader, do you have any employees? Betty's got 2 employees, so checkbox, yes. And then you can maybe state it somewhere there on the form, but we also have a checklist back in the office. That's our internal use. So when you give that information, we will indicate on the checklist. Okay, the projected annual turnover exceeds 250,000, yes or no? If yes, then you check yes. No, then you check no. So this is now going back to, like I mentioned, these questions will help us open your respective tax account. Okay, PIT account, CIT, GST, salary, wages. Those are the main 4 tax types that would open tax accounts, apart from the other withholding taxes. Again, depending on your business. So there you put your business name. Come Around Trading is Betty's business name. It's Betty Gilles Trading as Come Around Trading. So that's where you capture your business name. Then business address. We are telling you here that it's the physical address and not your post office box number. So there will require where this Come Around Trading is operating, location, location where? Boroko Drive or Gordon's Industrial Area or Morata 1. Morata is a big area, so you need to really specify. So this is where we want, as much as possible, for taxpayers or for applicants to give us the physical location of the business, and it's not your postal address. So there, you must always give us your physical location. Okay, the next and the final part towards the end of the form is the start date. So the start date is the business start date. Okay, you registered with IPA, the business start date. So that's the date we use. For this case, it's 13th of May, 2022. Okay, if Betty is an importer, then she can specify here or check importer. If you're not an importer or an exporter, there's no need for you to indicate there. Okay, so let's say the business address is Kaubebe Street, Boroko Drive. So that's what we mean by location. Or you can put your section and lot. So once you've completed that form, you then get to sign. You actually sign on that application form, you date it, and that's the completion of TIN 2. And don't forget, you will also be required to attach your IPA certificate of incorporation, extract, and your POI that you've stated here. So Betty will have to give us a copy of her NID and her trading name business certificate. That's the end of completing TIN 2, which is for an individual or a sole trader. Do you continue? Okay, we'll just show you how our guide looks. Okay, so that's our guide that I've been referring to. We have the guides and the forms all on our website. If you go into our website, you will be able to get all these. So the guide is quite lengthy because it's combined, like amalgamate, it's put together, TIN 1 and TIN 2 together. But we've made updates and we separated them now. So going forward, we will be having 2 separate guides or 3 separate guides, that's including small business tax. For now, this is the current guide that we have, so we're just showing it to you. So the guide collates or corresponds to the sections of the form. And also on the new updates we've done, we've actually identified as different sections, so it will be much more easier to follow through. So that's brought me to the end of my presentation. Like I said, we are still around here. We'll be here for the next 4 days or 3 days. If you have any other questions or you're still not satisfied, come around and see us. We'll be at the booth, or as soon as you open the door, you see all of us sitting there. So we are here to help you. We're not here to scare you. We are here to help you and give you more assistance. And last thing, you can also email your registration, the completed applications, to our registration mailbox. It's registrations@irc.gov.pg. Sorry, it's in my other presentation, but that's we can, as soon as you go into the website, the address, everything is on the website. So you can email them there with all your documents, and we have dedicated teams working on the mailbox. And I have my team at the service center, which we can also, you can drop your hard copies off there, and we can register, or we can process your application forms. We don't have any fees involved. Any IRC registrations, we don't have any fees involved. Everything is free. Our services are free, registration is free unless you engage maybe a tax agent. Then that's when they start charging you fees. Otherwise, when you come directly to the IRC, everything is free. I'm Tasol, and thank you. Sorry if I took too long, but that brings me to the end of my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Helen. We'll allow for one or two questions before we go. Miri Stresim Ken. The teen registration process. Very important, the same details where you're going to register in one time IPA, the same one must be captured on the IRC registration. Make sure get the names, your locations where you operate, LOL, correct and correspond. We've had many instances where, for example, Miss Betty Gills, or Betty Gills with IPA and comes to IRC and completes the form as Gills Betty. So all this plaka and something and delay the issuance of teen certificates to you. Plenty time where you operate longem is very important. The same way you've indicated on the IPA registration must be also the same that you will be indicating on our forms, and must be the true correct place that you will be trading from. You know, you put him Lohi Alomosby and the business is operating somewhere in Leh or Goroka. So that is very important. And plenty time you complete him also, but you find him some more application forms, you hold him stop. That is also to make our work easy. As citizens, you may survey, plenty time by me to call this business, I'm no operate, I'm no make him something straight. But when we want to go, no, you may find him some more details, blame is somewhere else. That is also the challenge that as an organization, we face him. So we encourage him. All registration details must be true, correct. Na current all details blue you me. Again, this is the next remaining days would be more or less very practical sessions where, you know, we plakam na talk tasol. We'd want you to understand our forms, our processes. We'd be having officers that, you know, on a daily basis, that is there and walk, normal walk, blol. So, and by all talk, but explain him all something, and all same kisim you may go through. Otherwise, yes, again, we've sort of come to the end of our day one session. I'll allow for one or two questions or maybe comments for now. Sampla good pla talk or sampla nongu talk, mi pla ken kisim too, and then we can conclude for day one. Our friend here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Solian, for your presentation. You raised several important points that, practically speaking, from our point of view, you'll have to consider some factors here. One, you were talking about postal address, making it mandatory in your new form that you're going to make. That means that every business who needs to register at IRC must have postal address. And then you went on further to say that you don't use care of. Now, the capacity of postal addresses available in this country is not enough to meet the demands of the business. That's one factor you should consider. Thereby allowing and considering that with the advancement of technology and the way information is now transmitted, your IRC form 14 should give the registration person the option to choose. Or, for example, they can choose option 1, send all your notices to me by email. Option 2, send all your notices to me by WhatsApp. Option 3, send all your notices to me by postal address. Yeah, that's one. Yeah. And the other thing that you raised, which I took note of, was that you said when it comes to changing our information on the data that is within the IRC, we'll have to state whether what are the reasons why we need to have a reprint, and thereby justifying why a new certificate should be printed and given to us. And you stated that when that happens, we'll give you a new number, right? New TIN number. Or did you not say that? Yeah. Yeah. Because we need a verification on that. Because when you say that you're going to give us a new TIN number, that means we'll have to change the whole process at the bank as well, and others. Yeah. So we need that to be verified and told us appropriately. Thirdly, some of the businesses that we create will need access to verifying whether the customers that we are dealing with actually have the true and legal TIN that they're giving to us. Thus, the IRC has a system where our businesses can contact you and say, hey, I have a customer here who is giving me the TIN. Can you be able to verify if that person or that organization is registered as a taxpayer with your organization? When you give us that verification, then we'll be able to onboard them or register them. Do you facilitate for that or not? For third-party access to your information. Thank you.
Thank you. Paitiman, very good questions. I'll allow Ms. Ellen.
Thank you for your questions. For the first question, I clarify that yes, we in the beginning, or not in the beginning, but it's a mandatory, it's requirement that you have to have a postal address if you want to make business. And I think that's still applicable with IPA. So on those basis, we still require you to have a postal address or your PO box. 2, because of modern technology, we're now encouraging you to have a email address, which is still okay. We can still communicate with you via email. If you tell us we don't want our postal or our notices sent to our postal address, we want you to send our notices to our email address or WhatsApp them to us, we can do that. You as the individual or you as the taxpayer, you tell us what you want us to do with your notices. Okay? Second question is about, sorry, what was your second question about?
Whether we'll give a new number.
Okay, thank you. With that, I didn't say if we were going to give you a new TIN number. Okay? Once we revoke a current TIN certificate in the system revokes. If you have a TIN certificate and you have a look at the TIN certificate, there's a number, I think about 9 or 8 digits at the bottom of your certificate. That's your certificate number. That's not your TIN number. Okay? That number system generates. So if you want a reprint of your TIN certificate, example, if you've changed your postal address, your postal address shows on your TIN certificate. Okay, those of you who have a TIN certificate, did you have a look at your TIN certificate? Okay, so if your postal address has changed to a new address and you are advising IRC, that is why we are saying you tell us your reason, which in this example, your reason is your postal address has changed. There are reasons like I've misplaced my TIN certificate. I can't find it. I was robbed. We need to know your reason before we can go and validating the system. That is why I'm saying you give us your recent. On that recent, we will process your request of reprints. So once we revoke the current certificate, the system gives us a new certificate, which is the new number at the bottom of the certificate. Your TIN is the same, okay? In this case, your postal address is P.O. Box 110 Boroko. Now you move to Waigani, or you move to Ley, you move to Rabaul. We want that current information. So you're telling us, I've moved locations, I'm now located in Ley, and my new address is P.O. Box 263 Ley, Morobe Province. Then we will go and revoke, and that information needs to show on your TIN certificate. So that's why I'm saying we revoke, we need to put a justification in the system why we are revoking. Then we are able to reprint. So when we reprint, your information stays, your TIN stays. That's your TIN for life. No one is going to change it. Unless if in cases where we die, there's a deceased person, then yeah, we close the TIN. But as long as you are alive and you're still walking around, that's your TIN. It's only the certificate number changes. So that allows the IRC to see. We run reports and we see who's come how many times, a number of times requesting for reprints. We've reprinted, or we went and revoked this number of times, 5 times, 6 times. So when we run reports, that's the whole reason why we ask you to justify. So we capture your justification in the system. And we know that, okay, this taxpayer has come, requested this number of times for a reprint. Sometimes continuous requests like this can, give the IRC suspicious. It may be not you, could be somebody else. That's why we ask for all these kind of little justifications for you to, give to us, so we make a decision. So, correction, I didn't say your TIN would change. Your TIN number still remains. It's only the certificate number changes. The system allocates a new number. So in the event if a taxpayer comes, you lost your certificate, and somebody else picks it up, comes to the IRC and tells us, this is my certificate, they want to do business and all this. And when we go in and we check, we do our checks, and if that certificate we see it's been revoked in the system, then it alerts us. Okay, hang on, where did you get this certificate from? We have a lot of people that go around doing this. Yes. So that's why we want to do our checks and balances before we start. Yes. So that's another, that's the most reason why we make sure that we are dealing with the correct person, we are giving information to the correct person, and we are not giving information to a third party.
Thank you. I think that's...
So once we do our checks, then we can see, okay, then we can tell that person, that's not your certificate. This certificate, how would we know? It's because when we run our reports, that certificate has been revoked. It's cancelled. That means that person cannot use it anymore because you already have a new certificate. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Helena. I think you also had a third statement that
yeah, yeah. The third question is about maybe third party, yeah? Third party. Yes. We give information to you as individual taxpayers, but we try to make sure that we are giving the information to the correct person. Sometimes some of you might be frustrated. Like example, you might want something from the IRC, and you send a courier, one of your courier boys, to come and ask. That person will be turned away. We want a confirmation letter from the owner of the business or the managing director or whoever, acknowledging and telling us that I'm authorizing this person. So we will freely, and we know that that's the person, authorized person, we are giving information to. We cannot give third-party information. Your information is strictly our integrity as well. So we don't give third-party information. And if you call us, you need to identify yourself, that you are this person. We check the system. Yes, you're the owner or you're the accountant to this company. Then we give you information. If somebody else calls and we check our system, it's not you or it's not that agent or the accountant, then we will not give that information. Because we want to safeguard your information. Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Ms. Helena. Point one taken. It's a very good suggestion for us to give that option to the taxpayer, which mode of communication that want the IRC to sort of contact them through, and that needs to be updated on our form as well. So this interaction, we not only mipla give him loyu platasol, mipla kisim this lakainol feedback to, I think, all our apply in this space, they've sort of given that option to the whoever that is completing their form. So that's a very good suggestion. First one. We'll have our friend here. 2 and maybe last 2, and we can quarter 10 to 3.
Thank you, Helen, for the presentation. My name's Iola. I just wanted to ask, because you've now also have an online platform for us and it's more engaging, are there plans for IRC to have the TIN forms to be online forms that we can then complete instead of having to do paper applications?
Thank you. Yes, theirs is looking that way to go online, but we just need to do few checks and stuff like that. Then we can go online. But at the moment, we have our Excel forms also on the website, which you can also use those Excel forms to complete and send to the registration mailbox or drop them off. But registration online, we're not on that space yet, but we're looking forward to go, hopefully in the next year or so. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll take one from the front.
Thank you, Helena. I realized that I registered a company before, and then I registered another company. So I realized that you use the same TIN, like the previous TIN that was allocated to me. You used that same TIN on the new company that business name that I registered. Is that right? That's one. And the other one is, I think you requested for a TIN, being a secretary to the company. You also requested a TIN from us. So what does that mean? I can still use the TIN that I have from the company that the business name that I have. So yeah, that's the question.
Okay, just explain to me, is this a business name or a company?
Business name.
Business name.
Yeah.
Okay, for business names, you can use the same TIN, which is your individual TIN. So if you have 2-3 business names, then you use the same TIN, but you supply that information. Okay, like I said, if you're updating your information, complete the form, attach the IPA documents, and send it to us, and we will update. So what we'll do, we'll capture the both business name enterprises under your one TIN. So you use that same TIN. Unless you have 2 different companies, then companies you will have 2 different TINs. Okay? But if you are a director, you will be still required to have a TIN. So if you're a director to the company, both companies will still link you up. We give you a TIN, register you for the individual as a director, and we link you up to the both companies. Yes.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
We'll take one from this side, then we'll conclude for the day. Did you try to ask a question? That's okay. Oh, he got scared. I'll take one from this side. And the last one.
Thank you, Helena. My name is Biama, anyway. I have a question because I did register the company under individual, TIN 2, and then I changed it to TIN 1. It's about 2 months ago now. I'm still waiting for the TIN certificate to be processed. So my director, who registered the TIN 2 without knowing that she applied for the course, and she went to Philippines. It's about 6 years. She went and got that course, and then she came back in year 2020. And then she asked me to register the new company, which I did. And I came down to IRC, and they gave me TIN 1 certificate. And the individual was pending. So the health department asked her that you have already registered individual. It's under clinic, which we already registered limited already. So because she had individual TIN number, then the health department asked her that we cannot give you the license, so you have to change it to limited. So which I did. I went down to IPA. I changed the individual to limited. And I brought it into the office of IRC. It took me 2 months to wait there. I don't know. When I came down, I was asking them. They said it's under objection. And I'm worried. I said, what is objection? And my director is already frustrated about those. Then he said, hey, I'm waiting and my license is going to be terminated. So if you can clarify me before I'll go and tell my director about that. She's waiting until end of this month, September, the health department will cancel a doctor license. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sedeka. I guess your query is around the changing of your enterprise at IPA. So you're telling me that you were registered, or your director was registered for a TIN, the individual TIN, and then now you've gone back and changed to company, or you changed the business, the ownership, not ownership, but the enterprise activity from a sole trader to a company. So with IRC, we have issues, we face issues or situations like this, and we have processes and protocols to follow. Okay, we don't just get your documentation and we need to do verifications. We need to make sure that your lodgements are up to date, your payments are up to date before a decision can be made. We must see that you are compliant and going forward, because anything that you don't pay or you don't, your compliance level is low, that's when, like you said, it will be referred to objections, or we need more justification. So there's a team that deals with or is responsible for such cases, and that's the case selection intelligence unit in the in IRC. So those queries, when we receive them, we refer them to that respective unit and they review. So that's, like I said, they make sure they check your compliance level. You are all, your compliance is good, and then they can then approve your request. So that means that we're not going to close your individual or that your boss's individual tin. We'll still leave it as open. We can register the new company, but we will link that individual tin to that company. Okay? But before that's done, those checks need to be done. Otherwise, if you come back to us, well, the team will contact you and maybe get more information from you, and you need to give that feedback to the tax officer. Once they're satisfied, then they'll let you know. Okay, they will advise you via written mail, letter, telling you what to do. Okay, we've approved that we're now you're changing your enterprise details from a sole trader to a company. Okay, if you're satisfied, we can still carry over your outstandings into that new company tin. But otherwise, you are required to make sure you lodge your outstanding returns, you pay your outstanding taxes that are due before that approval is given. Thank you.
While we are here too, maybe later get in touch with Miss so she can attend to your individual query there.
Session and we have the conversation.
We still have questions. Afternoon tea too. Me give him afternoon tea before you go off. So it's just still on its way. So we'll take 2. This is only one part. Liglik ta solo make him kam lo IRC. Plenty question by plus kim long stop lol narap lol day. Or strong lol question, hot lol question. So tayo sim program go back and sit down, scale him, look him. We'll get a 7, ask him to stop, read him lo tomorrow. 2 plata sol. And because by me kiss him tea so you miss his stop.
Sorry, me ask him plenty question here because me play stop arere liglik yana. In the periphery. Na manusia sambla hap me blow sambla line when me play sa cambia and plenty something. Ask him blow me also. Ask the soul me ring him sambla line long. Probably boss Mary no appropriate question ni you but me harim. Just la tubla text by me text return by me must pay one bla long. IPA. This level IPA the soul is shocking me because me no been sabe. Now since 2014 a company was registered. Now that he got some money no would by go inside. Na mi operate long.
You big cat man. 2014. No, now you talk out.
I think this lang one practical question liglik because time like find him out also. This lang I just want to know calculation belongan by also manam. Time me no kat one something business in operate the whole company register na stop. Na me like him so usikat sambla road you may must straight him. Because by unfair liglik lo me buy him nothing ko longgap man one money we me no kat you no been got. You play straight him this la sorry.
Okay. I answer, you answer.
Otherwise, my answer to you is that those sessions or that question will be covered in our next day's session, so they can answer it. Otherwise, Hazel, if you want to add on, you can add on.
No, those sessions will be covered, but you ask companies, you know that business activity, as we go on, you will find out that the importance of just lodging, declaring. Whether business you operate or you operate, after you make a SIM-TIN number, that is the very important thing. Suppose you SIM-TIN number na go pinis na business operate, good plan. You must come all at a time. And even if business in operate too, the lodging, the declaring part of that information is very important. So for your case, since 2014 comes, so you talk, operate, good plan, but no gatakis come up law. No tax will be charged against that business. Obviously, we'll need your bank statements to prove. As always, IRC likes to prove. In case you lie to us, because you have been hiding from us since 2014. And yeah, so now me plus this layar, good player, blue, some player, mak come inside the business. That's the time when, tax bakarama pim you long. You no can talk him look penalty and bam run away and no nap come. So anyway, a very genuine question. Plenty time and he has I'm asking right question. Plenty time taxpayer you me think ta solo sem me register lo this la time na business in operate na long pla time na nongut mi go kama place kile I'm all but penalizing me nothing true na mi no bin operate ba mix money lo wena baim plenty time poret blo you play sa make him na you pla tu sa make him hard lo mi pla you pla sa hard lo sam pla pe mi pla hard lo pani you pla so lo make him clear time business in operate when him text ba mi pla him lo you pla it will not be fair on your business and to you as the owner of the business. So only when the business is operating, making money, that is where Mipla like him takis blue Mipla to.
Thank you, Elena. I think me one blow register and plan the I want to tin na me no pay tax loan Mr. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say thank you, Elena, for your very informative presentation that you presented this very day. Me regarding plenty your certificate Pulablo IRC staff, team certificate. Na meeting law deregister him some plateau. So please, can you give me now you talk to law register him that's all. So can you just give us just brief law deregister him? Process for deregister him some certificate. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that would be the last, and we have the deregistration explanation to them.
Okay, the deregistration request. Currently, you need to write to the Internal Revenue Commission, to the Commissioner General, requesting the cancellation of your TINA. That you need to also give us the reasons, the grounds why you want to deregister the company or the business name. Then that information or that request will be referred to our CSI team, the case selection intelligence team, which deal with the liquidation, amalgamation, and deregistration request. So once you do a letter, you would be also required to make sure at least your lodgements and your payments are up to date, your compliance level is up to date. You also need to attach or give us your bank statements, justifying that, you know, maybe the business didn't operate for such a long time, or if in the process of liquidation or amalgamation, that information also needs to be attached with your letter. Once we receive all that, we will refer it to the liquidation, amalgamation, and deregistration unit, and there's a team there that goes through, reviews the request, and they should communicate with you if they need further clarification. And while on that same point, we've also, just for your information, we've also designed a new TIN cancellation form, and that's still in the testing and vetting process. So once that's been vetted and we put it on our website, you can then use that form, complete that form, attach what is requested on that form, and submit it to the IRC.
Thank you.
That's all. Just for your information, we also have officers from that section. So if you have any other questions, I can point you to the relevant officer, and you can then further discuss. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Elena. Any other questions we have? The booths are there. You can look at me plus stop again. We'll be here with you people for the next, how many? 3 days. So I'll ask him can come lo Mupla then. With that, me conclude him shortly now. Once again, me talk thank you for sitting very patiently. Naharim wanem something me plagat lo give him lo yupla. All again, usait online to join him me virtually. This is live stream. Also recorded, would be uploaded through our Facebook page. Most of the information that we will be giving and have given is also on our website. What's this? LinkedIn. Also on LinkedIn, you can, if you're on LinkedIn, this would by now would have already been uploaded up. So it's supposed to kisim good sample or during the day, you can go back and log into those respective applications and go through the presentations again. Again, I'd like to say thank you to our presenters in the morning, our friend from IPA, Commerce, and NCDC. I'm sure we picked up a lot of information from them. They will be here too as well. During the course of the week, we'll have our friends from the banks, Kina Bank, BSP, Number One Super, Olain Blaimil, the head caller, the Institute of Pacific Leadership. They'll also be here, they are out there. They will be presenting as we go along. Yumi talk thank you, morning, all commissioners, Yumi, it's sort of all staff. Now the Commissioner General also gave his keynote address. Again, the audience target for this, the next week is the MSME, Oliglical Businessman Mary. Thank you, you play interact one time, Sampla talk strong, sampla but time long time long lo talk time blue lo talk. So no can think also you talk wrong something no got. Plenty time you plus stop backside as all too na sort of you me emails, telephones, that's all go come. But this is a very good time where we get to interact. Also me been talk pinis, get to know special officers Blomipla. Plenty blow in their daily day's work, they're experts in what they do. So as long as you serve all them, and then they're a very good bunch too, they can at least assist and respond to your queries individually. Please don't forget to, we have the survey forms there. Generally, how you feel about or what you think we should improve, either as an organization or during this presentation. The forms, will make them available. I think they are also, the officers that are sitting, they have a tablet and a laptop that's there that you can complete him. You may acknowledge him too. Nathok, thank you, Lord Claire and Elder, for being here with us. As much as you may like him, this little information must go out to everyone, regardless. So that is why we also have them here. They'll be with us throughout the rest of the week. What else did I miss? I think that's all. You may sit down long plat time. Nah. It's 5:10 past 3 now. Not sure if afternoon tea have arrived already, but either way, please have, thank you. There's a thumbs up from the back, so. Again, have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee for the afternoon, and kindly make your way home. Be safe. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. All right. Thank you. Thank you for sitting.